And the questions were not rocket science. One was, when is Singapore going to be the next chair of ASEAN? And his answers were all like, now the chair is Malaysia. She was like, when is Singapore going to be chair? Yeah. What is one priority of Singapore when they become head of ASEAN?
I think it's to strengthen economic ties in the region.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. Right?
It's not that difficult. Okay.
I mean, Singapore, of all places, everyone knows you want to get somewhere in life, you know where to volunteer, right? Start your MPS session.
That people won't necessarily just look at, okay, you did this in uni means you can do this job. There's a lot of other factors.
You know why Dr. Anjani cannot learn on the job? Why?
Hey, fuck you okay, Terence.
Why he cannot learn on the job?
I knew you're smug. There's some shit coming. Hey, hello.
Time is running out. This is your final chance to nominate a loved one to be part of a very special SG60 project that we're doing. Singapore is celebrating its 60th birthday, and Folklore, our audio service, is marking this milestone in a very special way. We'll be interviewing 60 Singaporean seniors over 60 years old to capture their life stories for our Words of Wisdom project. But interview spots are disappearing fast. Your parent, grandparent, or that wise uncle could miss their place in history if you don't act now. Here's the best part. It's a heartfelt one-on-one interview done remotely. No travel, just their life story recorded from home. Nominate them right now at the link in the show notes. And don't forget, the first interviews are already live. Hear them now at the same link. But hurry, we're closing nominations soon. And now, on to the podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
How's life, Terence?
Not bad. Yesterday we got to attend the opening ceremony for the World Aquatics Championships in Singapore. And saw the best and brightest of Singapore aquatics.
Yeah.
And not just the athletes, I'm talking about the whole organization. And even our president was there as well, right?
Yeah.
And you had a very good time?
Yeah, it was interesting. Because I wasn't aware that the World Aquatics Championships was happening in Singapore until recently when we were invited.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a pity because it is... Of course, Olympics will always be Olympics.
Yeah.
But it is still one of the main events on the swimming calendar. Where they compete not just like swimming as we know it, but there's water polo, synchronized swimming, high diving. Is that what it's called? High diving?
Diving from great height. I don't know.
It's like for men, it's 27 meters high.
Yeah.
That's like the 8th or 10th story of a HDB block.
Correct, it's high diving. Yeah.
High diving, right?
High diving.
And a special kind of bowl-shaped pool has been constructed at Sentosa.
Yeah.
Which needs to be 6 meters deep.
Yeah.
From 27 meters, no. So all this stuff is happening from now till like August.
Correct,
right?
Yeah. And
August.
Near the end of August, yeah.
Yeah, end of August. So, I mean, interesting. And I will definitely want to catch something in live, like the high diving, for example.
Yeah.
Did you know that the thing was happening, like even earlier this year?
I think when Ip Pin Siu was on our podcast, I think she mentioned about it, that there'll be this championships in Singapore.
Yeah.
It didn't cross my mind when exactly it would be, but here we are. And I think I read in the news also that we had taken over from the hosting duties from another country, Russia.
Yeah. And I mean, it's something that happens every year. I thought it was like every 2 years or something like that.
Is it every 2 years? No. Is it every year?
I think it's every year. Because when we were doing the opening ceremony, they said in 2024 World Aquatics Championship, 2023. I believe it's every year.
Okay.
And Russia was supposed to host this. And we heard that normally countries get 4 to 6 years lead time. Singapore had 2 years because it was in 2022 when the war with Ukraine started. I think Russia, like the whole organizers were like, okay, Russia, there's no way you're going to host it.
Yeah, but actually it's held every other year.
Oh, every other year?
Yeah, in odd number years. But due to various factors like COVID-19, schedules adjusted. So it was held annually from 2022 to 25. Yeah.
Because 2020, 2021
I think, they skipped at least 1 or 2 sessions.
I see.
So every year will be
a
lot.
So that makes sense. Because I was hearing it yesterday, they were talking about the records broken. I think Taman himself was talking about the records broken.
Yeah.
Because apparently the thing in swimming, records are being broken faster than ever before.
I'm sure. And the interesting thing is that I think someone was talking about like even the size or the depth of the pool matters in terms of whether records are broken. Because deeper pools, apparently it's easier to slice through the water. So there's higher chance of breaking records. So that's what I think this time the pools are deeper, so there's a chance of more records being broken.
So which event would you want to see?
High diving, and I won't deny, like during the Olympics, I watched quite a number of videos of synchronized swimming because they were quite fascinating to watch.
But if you're watching it there, then you can't. It's fun to see how they're actually staying afloat, when they're upside down and all.
Correct, yeah.
But when you're there, you can't see. You just see above water only.
Correct lah. But it's like any live sporting event you go to, you don't get the commentary giving you insights and all. But it's the atmosphere being there and
True. But
how
football,
electrically charged it is.
But football, tennis, you can see everything that's happening. The thing with water sports, you can't see what's underwater.
No, but they are judged primarily on what they're doing above water anyway,
like,
right?
The synchronized swimmers, sometimes I don't know how they're staying afloat.
Yeah. They're like aliens at that.
Yeah, they're like aliens.
They can basically maneuver upside down.
Yeah, it's
so
insane.
I think I like to watch, but I guess wanting to feel the energy of like these live championships is always something. And then let's not take these for granted, right? These things, maybe it takes like a war to break out in another region for something like that to fall in our lap in Singapore. So yeah, I mean, if people want to just check out something different, I think it's worth checking out. Because like the high diving, we didn't even mention that it's actually at Sentosa of all places, right? It's not at like Kallang or anything.
Yeah.
It's on Sentosa, which is a place you can go for a weekend as well.
Because they needed to build a pool that can take that height lah.
Yeah. At first I thought they were going to like jump off, where I Show Speed bungee jumped off. Like,
the AJ Hackett.
I thought he would be bungee jumping off that for the high diving, but I don't think so.
Yeah, that one I think is still 60 meters lah. It's still 60 meters.
It's too high.
Still quite high. Quite high.
But
yeah, man. Still got news to cover. I mean, today is Friday, so it's one day after we launched that special thing.
Yes.
That we launched through the newsletter.
Yeah.
Right. Which is our first ever podcast workshop. And I mean, we are going to be doing something in the middle of August, hosting like 1 day workshops where we will take you through the entire process of starting a podcast. Even if you've been running a podcast, there'll be some stuff that hopefully what we share from doing like almost 700 episodes, 400 plus, 500 plus folklories, you can get.
And also, not even just Yalla But, like, right, producing other types of podcasts as well, right? For networks and big networks, not just in Singapore, but in the region as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of different genres that we've dabbled in. Narratives, edutainment, and Yalla But is like current affairs, right?
Yeah.
So, there's a lot that we can share from there as well.
Yeah. So, it'll be like a 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. day.
Full day, yeah.
Full day. We'll cover lunch. It'll be at our studio.
Yeah.
Terence and I will be kind of running through it. Quite a few spots have been taken. There are still spots available, but limited spots. Just go to yallabut.com to find out more.
Yeah.
And sign up for the newsletter for other updates so you get first dibs on shit like this.
Yeah, that's right.
Exciting times, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
But of course, the standard, if you want to make sure you like, share, follow, subscribe to Yalla But as well, right? And if you want to work with us,
you can email contact@ministryoffunny.com or just drop us a message at ministryoffunny.com.
Yeah.
Sweet. Cool.
So,
all right.
Wow, this first topic, going viral around the world, yeah?
Oh, yeah, around the world.
Yeah.
It was an interview per se, or like more a grilling or questioning process of the Donald Trump's nominee for ambassador to Singapore, which will happen at the Senate Foreign Relations Committee meeting on Wednesday, 9th July. So it's basically a process for any ambassador to be confirmed, where they sit in front of the committee, they are asked questions, they can give opening statements, and it's beamed to the world to see, after which there's a whole process which we can get into.
Yeah.
But this went viral because he answered the questions with like wrong answers, and he clearly wasn't the most confident, and the senator was just going at it.
Yeah.
And I think I saw it yesterday, and now there are articles all around the world about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, for context, basically the nominee is Dr. Anjani Sinha, and some of the things that made it go viral was when he was questioned by the Senator Duckworth about, I mean, she came in with the questioning already saying, I don't think you're ready, and I'm giving you a chance to help assuage my concerns. Like, one of the questions was like, what is the trade surplus with Singapore? And he said 18 billion for 2024, when the answer is actually 2.8 billion.
Yeah.
So it went on more like that, and we can get into the full responses. But how do you chance upon this whole interaction?
I mean, it went viral. It's all over the media. People are celebrating Tammy Duckworth like a hero, heroine or hero, whichever. She's a badass,
Yeah,
right?
she's
You
a
can get
badass.
into that a little bit. But yeah, it's people forget that she was also the one that made Pete Hegseth look really unqualified for his role as defense secretary, even though he's qualified.
Confirm,
already. And fun fact was that she was also here at the Shangri-La Dialogues.
She was.
Yeah, she was here as well with a delegation that included Pete Hegseth as well. So yeah, they grill each other. It's in front of cameras. It's very performative. But
what we do also.
Correct lah. But when push comes to shove, and they come together as America and come together as a delegation. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. I mean, for more context, right? Because at first I was also wondering what the hell is this process all about. So basically, how an ambassador gets confirmed is essentially there is the nomination has to be done by the president.
Yeah.
And they either are a career diplomat, so they've been working in civil service or foreign service, or a political appointee, who is someone who doesn't necessarily need any diplomatic experience. It can even be a friend or a cousin.
Yeah.
So then there's a background check, so FBI, financial disclosures, ethics review by the Office of Government Ethics, and then review of any past writings, affiliations, or public statements. Then there's a submission to the Senate. And I think now the Republicans control the Senate. They have a majority, right?
Yeah.
So when you submit it to the Senate, specifically the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which is the SFRC, then they do a hearing, which is what we saw. The nominee gives opening statements, the senators ask questions, and then the committee will evaluate.
Yeah.
So after the hearing, they can do three things. They can report favorably, report unfavorably, or take no action, which stalls the process. So if it's favorable, the report will be sent to the full Senate, and then they vote.
Yeah.
And I think Senate has 100 seats, so 51 seats, and the person's confirmed.
Yeah.
So then after confirmation, they go to the host country, present the credentials to the head of state, and then they start. So that was the process, and yesterday was the one we saw was the SFRC. So this Dr. Anjani Sinha, he was introduced by Lindsey Graham, and basically he's like a guy who born in India, came to the US when he was young with his wife, started a medical practice, sold that, started another medical practice that has like 8 outlets. So self-made businessman and a professional.
Yeah.
And apparently he's Donald Trump Jr.'s orthopedic.
Yeah, supposedly.
And a golfing buddy of Trump.
Yeah.
So that's his background. I mean, can tell that he grew up in India because his Indian accent is very strong. And he gave an opening statement saying that he lived the American dream, him and his family. But then when Tammy Duckworth took the stand, shots fired, man.
Yeah. And I think we were referring to Tammy Duckworth as a badass, right? Like the first thing I thought of was does she have relation to the academic Angela Duckworth who wrote the book about Grit, right? Yeah. Apparently she doesn't. I think they've clarified that she doesn't have any links to her. But I think in her life and her career, she's shown grit, right?
Which I had not known before.
And you watch the Senate video, you have no clue, but she's actually a double amputee, right?
Yes.
Because she actually has been awarded a Purple Heart for losing her legs in the Iraq War as an Iraq War veteran, right?
And as a helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
Her fucking helicopter was hit by a missile.
RPG. Yeah.
And she lost both her legs and a function in her right arm.
She managed to save her right arm, but she lost both her legs. Apparently, the rocket, the RPG landed in her lap. It went into a rocket, landed in her lap, but she still survived, but she lost her legs. So, you have to say badass.
She's a badass.
She's badass. Yeah.
Badass. And she actually spent time in Singapore.
Yes, she did. She grew up traveling, I think because of her father's work, right? So she actually lived in Southeast Asia for quite a while.
She was born in Bangkok to a US father and Thai mother.
Yeah.
She spent most of her childhood in Indonesia, stayed in Singapore, Cambodia, Vietnam, when her dad was with the UN development programs. She went to Singapore American School. And then she graduated from the University of Hawaii in 1989, did a master's degree in international relations at George Washington University. Then she signed up for the reserves, was deployed, lost her legs, and then went into like government lah. And then she's like the first person of I think Thai origin to be voted into Congress, first double amputee to be in Congress. She pushed for being able to bring your baby to a vote in Senate because she had a second kid after she was a double amputee.
Yeah,
is insane.
Yeah.
So at first, it's very easy to be like, who are you? You questioning Pete Hegseth about defense? Who are you questioning? But holy shit, man, she is someone who has given her life to the US.
So I think when you talk about all her accomplishments, it's also to show that she has an understanding of the region, right? Having grown up and lived here and of her because of her descent. And also, when she's talking about important defense issues, she's got skin in the game, right? She's someone who has fought for her country and lost her legs for her country. So you can't dismiss her background or her contributions such that she can question. Someone like that questioning Pete Hegseth, I'm like, she deserves to question him, right?
And questioning someone about being an ambassador to Singapore, where she spent time. She's been in the military, and the questions were not rocket science. One was the trade surplus. One was, when is Singapore going to be the next chair of ASEAN? And his answers were all like, now the chair is Malaysia. She was like, when is Singapore going to be chair? I don't know, but now it's Malaysia. And then she also said like, okay, what is one priority for Singapore when they become head of ASEAN? Like, if I were to ask you, Terence, what is one priority of Singapore when they become head of ASEAN?
I think it's to strengthen economic ties in the region, right? So that we can become independent of all the major superpowers that want to have influence in our region.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. Right?
It's not that difficult. Okay, you read the news. He did say economy, defense, and she's like, that's very broad. Just give me one thing. And then she asked something else also. I think, how does the US Navy work with Singapore?
About the treaty, military treaties, right?
Yeah. And his answers were shit, lah.
But that one, as a diplomat, he surely has a team, that's briefing him and getting him ready for this, right? Would you blame him for not knowing all these things as opposed to the team that didn't brief him well? Because you also can't expect, not everything, but there's certain things or details about treaties and stuff like that maybe you don't know the exact intricate details, right?
Yeah, but I would still blame him and his team. Because especially, the US Navy thing, even then, right, like, if you were going to go for an interview about being ambassador to Singapore, it just feels like this would be one of the things. So him not being able to answer, and the thing about these sort of hearings, they happen it's almost a panel of nominees. There were 4 others. And if you listen to the 4 others, any questions thrown at them, they can at least still answer a bit better. He was standout, terrible, and his wife and one son were in the audience also.
Yeah, watching.
Right. But you bring up the point that he has a team of diplomats. That's actually the butt to this topic, because Bilahari Kausikan, who's been on this podcast, ex-PermSec of Ministry for Foreign Affairs, and of course Calvin Cheng, socio-political commentator, said on their Facebook pages that Singapore's ambassador, so Dr. Sinha, could do well thanks to his personal relationship with Donald Trump. And they went on to kind of say that we should treat the new ambassador with courtesy and respect, and being an ambassador is more about relationships because he will have a team of people under him to do all the diplomatic work. But if he has a direct line to Trump, right, plus the fact that it's only 2 months into the term and they're already nominating a Singapore US ambassador to Singapore, when the previous few years, right, we never had ambassador.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Previous few years?
Yeah.
As in, what do you mean?
Because there was no official ambassador appointed. It was the chargé. There's a way to pronounce this French word. Chargé. Let's see. It was
Charge d'affaires.
Chargé d'affaires.
Yeah.
So basically, that's basically the head of the embassy. So I think in Donald Trump's first term also, there was no one that was confirmed. During Biden's term, there was the Jonathan Kaplan, who had some controversy around him and he left. So after that, the chargé d'affaires took over lah.
Yeah.
And the guy by the name of Casey Mace lah. So he wasn't an official appointee, but it still runs like an ambassador, but there was no official ambassador.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So but Jonathan Kaplan was ambassador until
2018.
early this year. Yeah, from December 6th, 2021 to early this year, January 20th, 2025. So yeah, I think
okay.
ChatGPT.
No. So sorry. It was during Trump's first term.
Okay.
Yeah. So Biden's term was Jonathan Kaplan up till January 20th. Then after President Trump took over, then it became the Chargé d'Affaires.
Yeah.
So currently we don't have an ambassador to Singapore.
Yeah. Currently.
Yeah. Currently we don't. So there's one school of thought saying that it was never like that big a priority during Trump's first term, but now it's a priority, which is good lah.
Yeah. I mean, and Bilahari himself was perm-sec from Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Calvin Cheng himself, I believe, is a non-resident ambassador as well, right? I can't remember which country.
Serbia.
Is it Serbia?
I think it's Serbia.
Okay. But yeah, so these are people with some experience in the space saying that we don't need to, be too flustered about the fact that he doesn't know all these things, right? In fact, the more important thing is that he has a, good relationship with Trump. How do you feel about that?
How you feel?
I mean, the fact of the matter is like what you said, right? That Trump is nominating an ambassador now compared to before, when he didn't even bother to appoint an ambassador, or there wasn't an ambassador in place, right? Maybe that is already a step in the right direction. As regarding who it is exactly, he doesn't present himself very well in front of this committee, but at the same time, understanding, or at least like trying to understand how Trump operates, right? I think Trump does operate in that way where we know that he nominates a lot of his friends into political positions, right? And that's whether you like it or not, whether Singapore likes it or not, that's how Trump is running his government, right? That's how Trump is doing things. He's nominating his friends, he's nominating people he played golf with, he's nominating people who may be unqualified for the position, as demonstrated by whether it's Pete Hegseth or Dr. Anjani himself, right? But the truth is, in those situations, in terms of diplomacy, sometimes it's about that person who can pick up the phone call and make the direct phone call to Trump, right? As opposed to someone having to go through official routes. So I think they're not saying that he is the worst nominee or anything like that, or the best nominee ever, but they're sort of just pointing that we as Singaporeans, we just kind of have to accept that this is who the US is going to nominate. More likely than not, will nominate, and we got to find a way to work with him rather than ridicule him.
But I mean, I feel very conflicted about this, because I guess this is the consequence of having someone like Trump, right? Your relationship with the US, for any country, it doesn't feel like it's your relationship with the US, it's your relationship with Trump.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have heard that off the record from like other people who work in diplomacy and all. Now it is like you need airtime with Trump. It's not the administration. You need airtime with Trump. And I think, Bilahari, having worked in the Ministry for Foreign Affairs, he's probably seen a lot of stuff that no one regularly sees. He understands how international politics works. And I think that is the scary part, that now it feels like it is all these personal relationships that matter, which is very annoying. Because it feels like, yes, this might be the new way that we work with the US, but it feels like it's that same group of people in power who decide everything. And it's less about the process, less about, actually doing good work, but it's really about who you know. And that's damn annoying. And I know you got a smirk on your face because you are going to say what, I am naive and idealistic, is it? Terrence?
No, I never say.
No, I can see the smirk. I can see the smirk coming out. Yes, Terrence, I am naive and idealistic. I hate this kind of shit where it is just, this person, is it? Can you get on a call with this? And that's the only way in. Then you have to just bend the knee and all this stupid ass nonsense.
Yeah, I'm only just trying to imagine what Bilahari would say, right? And
Okay.
Bilahari, he is a very smart,
Yeah.
a very smart academic and all this, right?
Yeah.
And he would probably be saying, that's just real politics, like
Yeah.
diplomacy is about relationships.
Yeah.
There's no objective measure of how good a diplomat is. You can't take an exam. It's like, oh, this guy is a good diplomat. And the other guy, lousy because he didn't score 90 points or what, right? So in some sense, like, I get that perspective, that maybe in Trump's era, it's not that it's blatant. It's just that they don't care about hiding it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas previously, it was like, oh, on the surface, everything, wow, this guy looked very qualified. But at the end of the day, probably it's still about the personal relationship that they have with the president or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't like that it's like that. But, anything that we do, even our work, our business, all that, a lot of things rely on having favorable personal relationships with people.
Yeah.
Even if you're the biggest podcast in Singapore or something like that, but if you're a real jerk, nobody wants to work with you also, right? So, I mean, this is the devil that we're going to have to dance with through Trump's administration.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can understand the rationale. And I mean, practically speaking, I agree with what they're saying. Like, if you have someone who, comes here, I mean, he's of Asian origin.
Yeah.
He speaks like my uncle.
Yeah, you're relatable, right? Relatable.
Very relatable.
Very good diplomat.
I hear him, I'm like, okay, the next thing he's going to say, when you're coming to my house next, I want to see your daughter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think, so practically speaking, it just doesn't feel right, Terrence. It just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel right. It just feels like everything we've been fed about how, we need to, think about the system and all this is not like personality politics and all. It is, man. It is. Like politics, yes, it's people.
Yeah.
But this one feels like what you say, it's so blatant, right? That they're just putting someone who doesn't know simple facts that I think even if he chat GPT'd, I'm going for an interview with the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Tell me what I should know.
Yeah.
Probably would have done him some good.
Yeah. I'm not trying to defend him, but I do believe also that the trade surplus that the US has with Singapore is 2.8 billion in goods, right? But actually in services, it's closer to like 30 billion. I mean, include services as well. So actually his number of 18 billion, maybe he was maybe he was thinking of like goods and services, right? Because the truth is, we buy a lot more services from the US than we do goods, right? And Tammy Duckworth, she focused on the goods trade surplus that we have. Maybe that's the meaning. But I'm just saying that yes, he screwed up, he got the number wrong. Even at 18 versus 30, he got the number wrong. But it wasn't maybe it was not of the magnitude that she was painting it out to be.
True.
There's quite a performative element to all this. I mean, she was on Stephen Colbert's show like 3 weeks ago, talking about how Trump basically is picking a lot of unqualified people to join the military, and why she thinks it's very important that the military should not be politicized like that, right? And I think that went viral as well, right? So I think I'm just saying that, it's hard to judge him based on these few questions about his competence in doing certain things. Because, I mean, we know that it's not easy to run a business, especially as a medical practitioner and all. We've spoken to medical people who have also run very successful big businesses and even joined the government late in their lives. Dr. Tan See Leng himself, right? Does not knowing these numbers necessarily point to incompetence in everything he does? Maybe it's just in this particular area of diplomacy, he doesn't know that. But I'm just saying that it might be too early to judge whether he's good or not suited for the role based on this grilling from the Senate. Right?
But I mean, when you interview for a job, right? How come that same argument doesn't apply there? You don't do well for an interview, you don't get a job, people understand, oh, I screwed up the interview. So I get how, we are in this era of more compassion, Terrence. But this one, I feel like if you are going to be a diplomat, grilling is par for the course. And I mean, not to say he got facts about Singapore wrong. He was also quoted as saying, he feels he will be able to relate to Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan.
Yes, he did.
Because, Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan went to school, he became an eye doctor. He went to school, became an orthopedic. His wife, Dr. Balakrishnan's wife, started as a started as a doctor, became a neurologist, and his wife started as something, became that. And ST and CNA very politely said, ST understands that Joy Balakrishnan is not a doctor.
Yeah.
So, like he got the profession of Vivian Balakrishnan's wife also wrong. So it just feels, yes, I understand, we can be more compassionate, but this one, I mean, he'll probably be confirmed. But I think for Trump's nominees, they skew a lot towards the political appointees. Because I think there was a stat since 1985, ambassadors, only 30% have been political appointees, while 70% have been career diplomats. And not saying that it's wrong, because over the past 10 years, you look at the US, can you even say they are doing things right? In doing things like by like making all the countries happy? I'll say no. They're pissing off a lot of people. So this one, we don't know. He might be the best ambassador ever, but it just feels like more of the like the cronyism.
Correct, but it's not even Trump, right? Like I think the Obama era, in those articles they mentioned that there was once where Obama picked a donor, a very prominent donor to the Democratic Party for Norwegian ambassador, and the same thing happened where John McCain actually grilled him in Senate as well, the Foreign Relations Committee, and he blew some basic facts about Norway. And then he ended up not being confirmed for that position. So, I mean, I think the point is it happens on both sides, not just Trump.
It's not partisan. It's not partisan.
And it's, you asked about the interview thing, but we have been to, I'm sure you have experienced, it will be something that we can talk about in the next topic as well. You have experienced interviews where people, they're just, you go on an interview and they already, within the first minute or something, they make a judgment about you, and they just very pointed in certain aspects of your resume, right? And they don't care about anything else that you've done that you feel is relevant to the job, right? And in some sense, maybe that's the case for Dr. Anjani here, right? Where he's been grilled on these aspects, these facts and figures about Singapore that maybe he doesn't know. But what if he knows a lot of other things? What if he knows the difference between roti prata and roti canai? What if he knows the difference between Hainanese chicken rice and something like that?
He tarik damn good, no?
Well, he can take tarik out, but you wouldn't care because they wouldn't ask, right? But if he demonstrates it to us, we'd be like, wow, this is the best ambassador ever. He knows Singapore food so well. So it's a very one-dimensional questioning that's going on here, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's performative. This is very performative. There's a lot of theatre involved in it. And I mean, the flip side is, I think now there's a general sentiment that they don't like politicians, the stereotypical politician. Like the past election, we say all these people becoming politicians that have been in civil service the whole time, and I'm guilty, right? I'm saying, why can't we have more people from outside?
Entrepreneurs, self-made men and all that.
Right, like this.
But after that, you want them to sit there and answer questionnaire about Singapore.
No, I still stand by the fact that I think he could have done better. He should have done better. That should be the expectation. But I think we have all also maybe been fed this one idea of what a politician or diplomat should be. But is that really the best? I would say, I don't know. We have seen so many examples of people being even worse, even though they've done gone through the ranks. But for me, it is not a good start.
Maybe it's the Singaporean in you, lah. He needs to ace his exams first, then I think he's good. No, I don't talk to him.
You telling me you honestly you see him feels like does he know at least a bit about our country? For you, you're like, okay, he might still be a good ambassador, lah.
Objectively, I can't say that I know what makes a good ambassador, right? So Bilahari, he raises an example of a previous ambassador who also got grilled, and then subsequently, but when push comes to shove, he picked up the phone and helped Singapore, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, the more I talk to people who work in this field of international relations and diplomacy, it's really about the relationship. It's really about lubricating the conversations between Chinese people and Americans who there's a language barrier and all that. It just boils down to being that lubricant between the two. And like you say, if he's someone who can find some he feels a sense of kinship to Vivian Balakrishnan, and because of that they can go for walks along Ride Out Road together and do things together with wife and everything all involved. Maybe that's better for Singapore in the sense that, if it really is just coming from let's build the relationship, all that other stuff, we can worry about it. And a lot of times when, even my days working finance and all that, right, fundraising and stuff like that. They don't sit there and let's go through the figures and let's tell me what do you know about this, what do you know about it. It just boils down to vibes. They got to have the vibe check.
Yeah.
And this Senate hearing is not a vibe check. It's like it's basically like your GEP test that you take in primary school. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong. Okay, you're out. Sorry, you don't get it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying. We need to move away from that, Haresh, in our education.
I'm saying I understand the practicality of it. Maybe it's just this internal conflict where I feel like we've always been told, like you must be like, it's all about what you know, the process and all. But it's clearly about who you know in this world, and more so with the Trump administration. So I get it, Terrence. I'm not saying that, he shouldn't be just based on that. I'm saying it's not a good start. He might still be the best. There is that one viral interview clip with Richard Branson where he couldn't explain the difference between net profit and gross profit. And if you think about it, you're like, huh? You fucking run how many businesses you cannot tell the difference? But that was like, it's so charming. It's so quirky. But in this case, maybe it's because it's all the baggage of how Trump seems to be working. How we have also like the same people you spoke to in working in international diplomacy and all. It feels like all these standard processes is just for us plebeians to know that, think like, oh yes, they are talking and discussing it, but everything happens just based on personal relationships. Maybe that's the thing that irks me. It might be the reality of the world. It probably is the reality of the world. And no doubt that even for our business, it is about personal relationships. But it's just like, that's my feeling.
Very relevant to what we're also talking about later. It's kind of like, maybe it just sums up like, how Singaporeans feel about the world around them. Right.
How do you like Trump?
Yeah, don't like it, but that's the reality.
That's the way it works. It's the devil we need to dance with, man.
We are price takers.
Price takers. That's the silver lining to this is that there is still a slim chance that Dr. Sinha might appear on his podcast.
Oh, yeah. Would love to.
If he gets nominated,
love to talk to him,
right? He comes on, then we can test him also.
We can grill him some more. But I think also just to understand, that the context of this Senate grilling being a very public thing, and there is a very performative element to it. I mean, everyone has an agenda, right?
Yeah. And Tammy Duckworth is a badass.
Yeah, she's badass.
Badass.
Speaking of being grilled and sitting through tough interviews and all, next topic is about our Singaporean undergrads who are also facing being grilled by committees and being put through the ringer as well, just to enter certain clubs, right?
Yeah. And it is it's not like the stereotypically the cool club, the thing that everybody wants to enter to be seen and be seen. It is a university finance club where the acceptance rates are pretty much like 10% or less which is insane and these refer to investor club like the Singapore like SMU student managed investment fund, and there is all this not say entrepreneurship clubs, but investment funds and trading clubs, all student run So apparently it is now become a thing where the job market, I guess there is the reality of not many openings for banking jobs, and the students feeling stressed, and students realizing that being part of a student-run finance club or starting your own actually is very powerful on the resume, or at least helps you stand out a bit more. So now, while they're applying for internships and all, the precursor to that is that they need to apply to get into these clubs. And it sounds like they go through the same process where they have to prepare for the interviews, be grilled by a committee. I think for one of them, they're like given 2 weeks to pick a stock and build a case study that they present to their fellow students who are already in the club. And after that, there are vibe check interviews before they can enter the club. And
vibe check interviews. They grill them about the trade surplus with the US.
No, vibe check interviews are fucking important. We do them as well for anyone who joins our team. It's damn important. So it is it sounds like holy shit, this is intense. So as someone who worked at the pinnacle of the finance world on Wall Street, Terrence, who went to Wharton, Like when you look at this, what do you feel?
Actually, I'm not that surprised when I'm reading this. I mean, I get that more people, job market's very competitive now, and finances and tech, for example, are two industries that roles are very coveted, and you can make a pretty good living right off the bat, right after graduating. So I'm not surprised that it has become so competitive and all that, because honestly, when in university and business school as well, I'm sure you felt it. It was very competitive to get into some of these clubs, and even applying for some of these clubs was such a laborious process.
I mean, I didn't. Did you get into any of those clubs?
No, I did. I think I tried for one, like. So there's this very stupid thing called business fraternities, right? Like rather than join an actual like social fraternity club where it's like cool and parties all that, there were these business fraternities that people set up. I mean, they basically they were part of the Greek culture, but they focused on professional life, like helping each other through all these things, whether it's like interviews or working on investments and decks together and stuff like that. So actually, I think I tried to join one of them. So I went for like a mixer they had. I went for some community service thing they had, and then after that, I was just like, this is damn lame, because it's like if anything, the kind of like ragging or the kind of like what was the term for torturing you to?
I think it's ragging.
Ragging.
Hazing.
Hazing. Yeah, the kind of hazing
yeah.
that these fraternities and all put you through. I was like, fuck that, I don't want that, because I already went through hazing for 2 years in the army already, right? You asked me at 21 years old to come and do all these push-ups or like go out in the middle of the night or report to some place in the middle of the night to stand by whatever. It was just nonsense to me. And I was just like, I want to fit in with the cool kids, but I don't want to fit in this way, right? So it was just, I think after that, I just thought it was damn stupid and I didn't do it. But I did join other, like this kind of clubs that do things, but not so much fixed on investment and finance, but other things. Yeah.
But the fact that you could still get an internship and a job on Wall Street, right?
Yeah.
So was it like still super competitive back then? Like if you don't have that, it would severely disadvantage you.
That meaning
being in a finance club.
No,
because it sounds like that's the thing now.
So I think reading the thing, it gives this perception that you need to have these things in order to get your way into a bank or something like that. But actually, I think you read some of the stories that people are saying in this particular article. They say that they spend 3 to 8 hours on a Saturday sitting there, going through financial modeling and all that. Another person talks about how they were on exchange in Europe at that point in time, but rather than go out and enjoy life after school, they would have to actually go on Zoom calls with their clubs to, do decks and pictures and slides at midnight, and they were just like, just making life very difficult for themselves, like suffering while on exchange, right? I think that to me feels like it kind of misses the point of all these clubs. I mean, a lot of times I realize like, the most important thing about university is the network that you make along the way. And I'm not talking about just networking in terms of like just to find a job, but the friends that you meet along the way, and just learning how to interact with people on a day-to-day basis and connect with them, right? But if you're spending your time like on a Zoom call, of all things, working on slides where there's no chance to physically interact with people and get to know them better and understand the group dynamics, I feel like that's a waste of time.
But that is where I think maybe like our time was very different. Because okay, you think about it, like right now, if it's really tough to find a job, the unemployment rate is going up, right?
Yeah.
There's this trend of fresh grads not getting jobs. Can you blame them for wanting to do all they can to secure a job? So when I saw this, to me the sadder thing was that the competition is for finance clubs, as opposed to, I don't know, like, it was never a case during even our time. Like, it's one of the clubs that's like for sports or for the arts or something.
Yeah.
But it just like, to me, it's hard to say these students, hey, just go in Europe, you just party hard and all. Because if the downside to not joining one of these clubs is you can't have a job after graduation, that can be very harrowing also lah. So the sad thing is like, oh shit, it is that competitive. Like I can't imagine the stress already having to study, prepare for internships, try and have a social life, and then now there's this added thing. So it's just a sad reality lah. So this is another thing I'm like,
no, but that's assuming that these clubs actually really help so much in the interview process for internships or jobs. Well, what I'm saying is that, maybe my time was a long time ago and all that. But honestly, like even when we were doing recruiting last time, after when I joined Wall Street and we were doing recruiting back in schools and stuff like that, the interviews rarely, I mean, your club history and all that is interesting, like, right? But a lot of times you're just trying to figure out if this is a person that I want to sit next to, in the cubicle for 12 hours a day when there's a deal going on and, we're being wrecked by the deal and everything. And then a lot of it boils down to that basic, like, vibe check. I'm not saying that all the other qualifications don't matter. Obviously, your GPA is important, and what you do outside of class also is important. But it's not necessarily like because you want a job in finance that you only join a finance club. There's so many other things you can volunteer and do. I mean, Singapore, of all places, everyone knows you want to get somewhere in life, you know where to volunteer, right? Start your MPS session. That one is like, it will get you places in life.
Not just in banking, but in the civil service
everything.
As well.
It will help your kids, it will help you, it will help your wife, it will help your family. So you want to go and volunteer and show that you are a person of the community and all that. By all means, do it. But there's a lot of other things you can do besides just sitting there working on slides or decks and doing what you will be doing after university anyway, right? And then when I mean networking, I don't mean in the sense of like that you got to be out there partying and all, but you really should be out there trying to meet as wide a swath of people. And I mean in the university, as wide a swath of people in your university as much as possible, because you maybe you're very focused on a finance job now, but at the same time, there are people who maybe not studying finance now, who will be doing very interesting things that you could end up, crossing paths with again in the future, right? And you want to be able to pick up the phone like Dr. Anjani and call and say, hey, yo, dude, we used to be on the, Habitat for Humanity back in the day. Remember all those good old days? Let's catch up again. I'm in finance now. What are you doing? Oh, I'm working in my family business and we're looking to acquire some other company. Boom, you got a lead there for your job. So I feel like it's very short-sighted to like focus only on like, because I'm going to do finance and all, then I only do this thing because it's going to look good on the resume, and then the recruiters will look at it and it's like and say that I'm the best person.
I mean, okay, so on that note, I agree. And I think that probably stands the test of time because even back in our age, I mean, for me, thankfully, like I didn't have to go down the path of like banking internships because I knew I was going to come back to SIA. But even applying to get the, say, scholarships or the universities and all, I think the older you get in life, you realize that there is the skills portion, but there's so many other things that could give you an edge. And that I totally agree. And now, I mean, like I assume there's some truth now also that if your concern is like, because some of the students interviewed say everybody has a good GPA and this helps you stand out. But yeah, I totally agree that there are other ways to help you stand out. And I mean, of course, the like OCBC Bank HR person says that, club participation isn't a prerequisite on applications. It can serve as a meaningful indicator of skills, leadership, and commitment. I mean, in some way, skills, leadership, and commitment can be shown through other ways. Because, it is a damn sad reality that if you are on exchange in Europe, you got a chance to go and you're getting on a Zoom call at midnight to do like this kind of work. Because it almost feels like going out and partying in Europe can actually have more benefits.
Or go and volunteer or do something around while you're on exchange, right? Join the local clubs, whatever they're doing, right? And show that you can hang out with international students and very diverse groups of people.
That's true. Because I mean, the one reality that we all need to also understand is with AI, right? A lot of these entry-level jobs, even in banking, correct me if I'm wrong, it's so much menial work that AI is probably going to take care of it.
Yeah.
Right. And if you want to differentiate yourself, these sort of clubs where they're not doing anything like wasn't being done 10 years ago, thinking of a stock to invest, building a case study or something. There might be other ways to stand out.
Yeah. I mean, I recall one very interesting volunteer trip that I did that had this element of doing management consulting as well. So I think I can't remember, it was my second year of university or something, I volunteered to go with Habitat for Humanity to go and like tear down houses after the New Orleans hurricane. And this was in New Orleans, So, I mean, as a young person, you'd be like, oh yeah, go New Orleans, Bourbon Street, it'd be fun, right? But we really went there and we went to tear down like houses that were flooded to the ceilings, right? And people basically abandoned entire houses. So it was a lot of like menial work, but it was so fascinating to watch, and I learned so much about the failure of like the federal services to protect people, and so much about how nature still is a big player in places like New Orleans, right, flooding and all. But there was this segment where we did management consulting, where we went to a local small business and we just spent a day with them to talk to them about how the business was and what can be done to help them, right? And it was just such an eye-opening experience, because you learn, you talk to them, you understand what a local business struggles are, and then you try to come from your old business school point of view and tell them how to do things. And at the end of the day, it boiled down to very simple marketing things, like we get some advice about putting a sign on the highway outside the store and things like that, right? So in some ways, like I think there's a way more interesting story than saying that you sat in a Zoom call for every week while you're on exchange in Europe, right? There's you get so much more out of it. You forge these bonds with people that last way beyond university, and you just become a much more interesting person to talk to in the interview, .
Yeah. So I mean, it is like the Singaporean playbook.
Yeah.
The Singaporean playbook. I mean, again, like whatever the students are going through, it is still a very different world from what we went through. But I think where we're coming from is that certain things that, like, I've realized over the years, what people said the last time actually got a lot of truth. That is not, grades will get you so far, but if you really want to do other stuff, you need to experience other shit.
Yeah.
And like most jobs out there, you will learn stuff on the job. Right? You got another smoke on your face. I know somebody's coming. You will learn on the job, and uni, the stuff you learn in uni might set a base, but it's not going to be the only thing you will need to do this job. There's so much you will need that people won't necessarily just look at, okay, you did this in uni means you can do this job. There's a lot of other factors.
You know why Dr. Anjani cannot learn on the job? Why?
Hey, fuck you okay, Terrence.
Why he cannot learn on the job?
At that level, I knew in your smirk, there's some shit coming. Hey, hello. At that level, you wanna nominate a prime minister or minister? Can learn on the job, man. Nonsense.
Have to learn on the job. There's nothing going to prepare you for being prime minister.
Of course, there will be stuff you learn on the job, but you cannot just say I don't have the skills I learn on the job for a role of that level and status. From a fresh grad, very different. So easy to debunk, Terrence. Easy to debunk. No, that one was not worthy of a.
So not worthy. Anytime if Harish is interviewing you, make sure you know what the trade surplus between Singapore and US is, . If not, he'll give you a very loud.
If you are interviewing to be ambassador for I don't know what, like Yalabat to the US or something, even then, no. That's totally separate.
Okay, but on that note, right? Like I think one of your pet peeves, I mean, probably for me also, right, is when someone comes to an interview and we ask them, have you even listened to Yalabat or anything before?
Oh, yeah.
And then they say, oh, actually I haven't.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, what the fuck? Then what the fuck are you doing here? Right?
Yeah.
And that has happened so much. It's like, it's quite disturbing that people don't know that that's at least the basic you should do. Right?
So how you square that, Terrence? Like, they can listen on the job, right? If they start working with us, they can listen to all they want.
How do I square that? But it's different. Different is at that level, ambassador level is different from when you're interviewing for Yalabat level. Correct, Harish? Correct. I squared it off already, Harish.
Nonsense. To be like ambassador level, there's some truth to that. Okay, it's two different things, but it is more of that kind of feeling. Like, you want to apply, just That's why, like, I think like anybody who wants to work with us in future and all, just just listen to a few.
I mean, because my
vibe.
assumption a lot is that very few people work in, have experience in our industry, like, especially at a very young age. So I don't expect them to know a lot about media or know a lot about how production is done or have studied some media thing. But to me, it's like the basic you can do is just
listen a bit. Listen a bit.
But I mean, for Dr. Anjani, like I said, maybe he knows how to do a damn good teh tarik, or he knows the difference between roti prata.
Behind the neck, behind the neck.
If he knows all that, I'm like, okay you don't know trade surplus, okay, fine, but you are welcome to Singapore.
Suddenly he got family living in Katong or something like that.
Exactly, you say Tammy Duckworth, wow, stay here, everything. Later he really has like he's got a black and white somewhere here or something,
Ask Tammy, Bala from block 25, the mama shop there, I tell you, the mummy always very fresh one.
That would be a good ambassador.
If he says that, then I'll be okay. Dr. Anjani, I'll give you a chance.
So what alternatives do you propose for these kids other than joining these clubs?
No, I think actually doing that sort of stuff that takes you to a country that like something where the country is not as developed as Singapore. Not to say you go there and like poverty porn like that, but it really opens your mind to holy shit, Singapore is a small speck. So if you go to another big city, cosmopolitan city, it's more of the same. If you have a chance to go to a country that's very different from Singapore, the more different, the better.
And all those people new to the podcast, this is the part where Harish talks about how much charity work that he's done in the continent of Africa. All right, 3, 2, 1.
I mean, since you brought it up, it was very, very, very eye-opening, very eye-opening. But I won't say more. I won't say more. We are going to be holding an AMA soon. If you're curious, I can share more.
Okay.
But I had no intention.
I started with the whole Habitat of Humanity thing, so guilty as charged.
I was doing Engineers Without Borders, That's all I was saying. But I built a lot of toilets.
But I think there's so much to do other than just staying in school and doing that. If you want to stand out,
and I think for those that the more of the work will be actually doing it as opposed to the application process to do it. So you don't need to spend as much time.
Oh, but another thing I say is that don't disregard what a university is for, right? There's a lot of brilliant academics, professors and all that I regret not making like better relations with a lot of the professors that I had before, because they'll be doing very interesting work, and later down the line in your life you might need to work with some of these professors on certain things as well, right? So go make relationships. Not get into relationships. I mean, like go and build relationships with the academic side of things also,
Or the person next to you might be like a founder of $1 billion startup.
It could be. But I'm just saying not the student body, but like the academia side of things. Like I know people probably very sick of studying or sick of hearing their lecturers already, but at the same time, there'll be some of the most fascinating people and they write some of the most fascinating things you might ever read.
I remember the one thing that a returning alumni came to say at a talk that I was listening to in the 4th year, which made me realize, oh shit, I should have done so much more. He said, your time in university is probably going to be the only time where, regardless of your interests, you will be able to find at least one person who shares it. And when I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Once you go enter the working world, it's going to be very different. You're going to be in these little bubbles, even though it can be a big bubble. But uni, you have so many people doing so many different degrees. Regardless of what you're interested in. You want to do juggle fire stuff, there might be someone who's interested.
Yeah, exactly. Pottery, whatever.
Or anything.
Anything.
So just take that away, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yes.
Cool.
A lot of talking about interviewing and grilling and everything.
Yeah, man.
But what is your one Shiok comment?
Okay, wait, let me pull it up. You have yours?
Yeah, mine is about on Reddit about our episode 686 about the golf courses being shut down in Singapore. Wonderful on Reddit said that, I agree with the host. Well, it's sad that the public golf course is being removed, but having new public courses should be fine. Golf is not just a huge space user, but also water. It uses a lot of water to keep the lawns green, as well as biodiversity issues due to the environment. So it's probably a net positive to reduce the number of courses we have anyway. So that's something we didn't mention where, what it takes to maintain a golf course and all might not be the best for, whether it's the environment or the surrounding area around the golf course.
The golf courses thing. Yeah, mine is One Shiok. It was just something that started another discussion on Reddit. It says a look at Gen Z's attitudes towards job savings and retirement, posted by Ritaki. And it was a CNA video that talked about a survey that interviewed 3,000 people aged between 21 and 28 across 6 countries, and basically summarize the Gen Z job attitudes in Singapore. So some stats, and I mean, like there was a bunch of discussions that happened after that, which is great. It's always nice to see people put something on our post and then create a discussion, because we were thinking about covering that on an episode, but didn't. So it's nice to see people pick it up and just have their own little discussion. Yeah, man.
Cool.
That's my one Shiok thing, one Shiok comment. And what about your one Shiok thing, man?
My One Shiok Thing is there's a channel on YouTube that I've just been watching a couple of their videos. It's this gaming channel called Early Bird that actually does a lot of retrospective videos about very, very old video games from the past, right? And so they talk about why certain games. The one that I've been watching, and this is a 50-minute video, so it's quite long. It's about a full motion video game from the 90s called Phantasmagoria. So it was the interesting thing, they didn't just talk about the game, but they talked about why that particular genre of full motion video games were considered very groundbreaking, but also quite controversial. But ultimately, the entire genre just kind of fizzled out as well, right? So there's a lot of elements that they, rather than just talking about a game, they also talk about, how the game publishers also, how they budgeted for a game like this, and why everything looks the way it does, and why it was so groundbreaking for what it was at the time. So you know full motion video games? Do you remember them from the 90s?
No.
Where basically they get an actor to act in front of a green screen. And after that, they create a computer environment, and then they place that actor in there, and then you click around the screen like an adventure game, so you click and investigate things, and then when you click something, then it triggers a video, and then you watch the video, and it moves the story forward. So I remember those days when I was young, I really enjoyed those click adventure games, right? Like Indiana Jones and all.
Oh, those kind of games, I remember.
Yeah, those kind of games.
Monkey Island and all.
But then they would add in the full motion video element where it's almost like an interactive movie. And it was very cheesy, a lot of B grade horror stuff, right? So I really enjoyed playing those because they were quite, cheesy, but also really, they used a lot of practical effects. So the violence was really it looked like very, very real and all. So yeah, this was a video by Early Bird called Was Phantasmagoria Too Much, where basically Phantasmagoria was a horror game, set in a haunted house and everything, that also featured a very scene of sexual assault, right? Which was very controversial back in the day, which is, there's nothing compared to what you watch on Netflix these days. But back then, it was such a big deal because of that. And the fact that it was in a game that, I was a kid back then, I was really able to play the game. Yeah. So it's just interesting just looking at all these things, these cultural products that, years ago, we were like, wow, this is so bad. But you look at what we watch on Netflix now, it's like nothing already.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what's the name of the channel again?
Early Bird. Yeah.
Early Bird.
So they cover a lot of retro old games and just talk about a little bit more about the context of why these games stood out during that time.
I see. Cool. My One Shiok thing is also a YouTube channel that I don't think I mentioned this as a One Shiok thing, but now, every day I see some new AI thing, it freaks the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But this AI video generation is like one idea which I thought actually quite interesting. So now the internet is full of people who hold a mic and go up to people on the street and interview them about what they've done for business, how much they earn, and all this kind of thing. So this channel does AI interviews of pop culture shows So like Westeros from Game of Thrones. They basically go down and just interview people at King's Landing, the Dothraki, at even the White Walkers, so it's just that same kind of format. And then they interview people from Harry Potter, what life was like in feudal Japan.
Yeah.
And basically, it's kind of funny interviews, lah. Like what's your favorite cafe around here or something.
Yeah.
And it's asked in the context of like Game of Thrones and all that. And it's AI generated. So, I mean, you can tell it's like AI generated, but it's just, I thought, hey, actually, this is a fun way of using AI. That doesn't look like it's like doing something to screw up society or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was pretty cool. The channel name is Cyber Tupinikium.
So are they the ones that create those videos? Because I've seen them and they're like...
I think right now there's quite a few, but this is one of those. I mean, the channel's not that big, like 4.26k subscribers.
Nice.
I've seen another one recently, like a vlog from the POV of Moses, like after he parted the ocean. He's like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then you can see in the background the water.
I've seen that, yeah.
So quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the use case of AI that doesn't freak me out.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. Remember, if you want to attend our podcast workshop happening on 15th and 16th August, please go to yalaba.com. Seats are limited. Follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, and what else, Terrence?
If you want to work with us, email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com or just check out ministryoffunny.com.
Sweet. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll talk to y'all soon.